The wind howled outside, rattling the windows of my friend Jessica's old, decrepit house. It was the kind of place that sent shivers down your spine, even in broad daylight. Yet, here I was, on a dark and stormy night, trapped inside for a sleepover I would never forget. Jessica had always been fascinated by the supernatural. She would often regale us with tales of ghosts, demons, and things that went bump in the night. Most of us laughed it off as the overactive imagination of a teenage girl, but tonight, we were about to learn that some things are best left unexplored. It all began innocently enough. Jessica's parents were away for the weekend, leaving us alone in the house. We had planned a sleepover filled with junk food, horror movies, and scary stories. Sarah had even convinced her older brother, Mark, to lend us his collection of ghost hunting equipment. We were ready to embark on our very own paranormal adventure. As the night settled in, the storm outside intensified. Rain pounded against the roof like 1,000 fists, and thunder roared, shaking the house to its very foundation. We huddled together on the living room floor, our flashlights casting eerie shadows on the walls. Jessica, the self-proclaimed leader of our group, decided it was time to put her ghost stories to the test. She had heard tales of a malevolent spirit that supposedly haunted this very house, and she was determined to make contact. She had even drawn a makeshift Ouija board on a piece of paper, and we all placed our trembling fingers on an upside-down glass. "Is there anyone here with us?" Jessica asked in a shaky voice. The glass remained still. "Come on, Jessica." "This is ridiculous," I said, trying to sound brave even though my heart was pounding like a drum. Just as we were about to give up, the glass moved. It slowly glided towards the word yes. A chill ran down my spine. "Who are you?" Jessica asked, her voice trembling. The glass spelled out a name, Anna. "What do you want, Anna?" Jessica inquired, her voice barely a whisper. The glass spelled out another word, help. A wave of unease washed over us. Sarah was skeptical, thinking one of us was playing a prank, but the fear in our eyes told a different story. We decided to continue, convinced that it was just our overactive imagination playing tricks on us. The glass continued to move, spelling out chilling messages. Anna claimed she had been trapped in the house for years, and she needed our help to move on. Her story was heartbreaking, telling us how she had died in this very house and her spirit had been imprisoned ever since. Despite the eerie feeling that crawled up my spine, I couldn't help but feel sympathy for Anna. We asked her how we could help, and she directed us to the basement, where she claimed her remains were buried. "I don't like this, guys," Mark said, his voice shaky. We should stop, but Jessica was determined. She had always wanted to experience the supernatural, and this was her chance. We grabbed flashlights and ventured into the darkness of the basement, where the air felt thick and suffocating. The basement was a maze of old boxes and dusty furniture, with cobwebs hanging like macabre decorations. Jessica followed Anna's instructions, guiding us deeper into the labyrinthine darkness. Finally, we reached a corner where a small, unmarked mound of dirt caught our attention. We began digging with our hands, our fingernails caked with dirt and grime. The air grew colder, and the darkness seemed to close in on us. Just as I was about to suggest we give up, Mark's shovel struck something hard. We all stopped, staring at the ground. "What is it?" Jessica asked, her voice trembling. Mark continued to dig, revealing an old, rotting wooden box. It looked like a coffin, and the realization sent shivers down our spines. Sarah hesitated for a moment before opening it, revealing a human skeleton inside. We gasped in horror, the reality of the situation sinking in. We had uncovered a burial, just as Anna had claimed. But as we stared at the remains, a sense of dread settled over us. It wasn't just any skeleton, it was missing a hand. Suddenly, we heard a faint whisper, like a soft breeze brushing against our ears. "Thank you." It was Anna's voice, but this time it sounded different, more sinister. Terrified, we scrambled out of the basement and back into the living room. The storm outside had intensified, and the wind howled like a banshee. Jessica tried to dismiss it all as a prank, but the fear in her eyes betrayed her words. As the night wore on, strange things began happening. Objects moved on their own, eerie shadows danced in the corners of the room, and the temperature plummeted. We were no longer in control of our own sleepover. Something malevolent had taken over the house. Desperate to find answers, we returned to the Ouija board. We asked Anna why her hand was missing from her grave. The glass spelled out 2 chilling words. I lied. Fear and panic washed over us like a tidal wave. It became clear that we were not dealing with a lost soul seeking help, but something far more sinister. Anna had deceived us, and now she seemed intent on keeping us trapped in her nightmarish web. We tried to leave the house, but the front door was locked, and the windows wouldn't budge. It was as though the house itself had become a prison, and we were its unwilling inmates. Hours passed, and our fear turned to exhaustion. We huddled together, clutching our flashlights like lifelines, as the supernatural activity escalated. Ghostly figures appeared in the shadows, their hollow eyes fixed on us. Unseen hands grabbed at us, pulling us in different directions, as if trying to tear us apart. Jessica's once confident facade had crumbled, replaced by sheer terror. Mark and I exchanged worried glances, realizing that we were in over our heads. We had dabbled in forces beyond our understanding, and now we were paying the price. As the night reached its darkest point, Anna's voice echoed through the house once more. You will never leave. We had become prisoners of the very entity we had tried to help. We knew we had to find a way to break free from Anna's grip, but it seemed impossible. The house itself was working against us, its walls closing in like a vice. In our final desperate attempt, we returned to the Ouija board one last time. This time, we didn't ask questions, we pleaded for our lives. The glass moved, spelling out a single word, leave. With renewed determination, we made a run for the front door, pounding on it with all our might. Miraculously, it swung open, and we stumbled out into the stormy night. The rain drenched us, and the wind whipped around, but we didn't care. We were free. We ran down the dark, empty streets, not stopping until we reached the safety of my home. We never spoke of that night again, but the horror of it stayed with us, a constant reminder that some things are best left unexplored.